Hello, fighter survivors and thrivers. Welcome to the Cancer Show. It is Superhero Saturday, and I want to honor the first superhero I'd like to talk about today, which is my mother. My mother is my superhero. She's 88 years young today, and she is probably the most fun senior you'll ever meet. She's still dancing, she's still laughing, she loves to go out on little excursions, adventures. I asked her where she wanted to go, if there was anywhere that she'd like to travel, and she said Africa. I swear she said that. She wants to go on a safari. She's 88. And you know what? I said, okay, if I said to her, okay, we're going, she would be ready to go. Hi, Clive, welcome. It's Superhero Saturday. And so, yeah, I sent her yellow roses because she is all sunshine. And my mother did not have cancer, thank God, but she had 4 children. My 2 brothers, my older brothers, and then my sister and I. My sister was diagnosed with leukemia when she was 12 years old, relapsed, I believe, around 16, and then we lost her last year after a compromised life due to leukemia, and it's hard. So hard. Due to leukemia and the extreme side effects that caused her to never fully recover after her second relapse. So cancer has always been, in my life. Here comes the dogs. I was 6 years old, and like I said, she was 12, and back then they did not have the support that we have now. My mother was alone in Vancouver. My mom's from a small town called Trail in British Columbia, but my dad was working. I had to stay with my aunt, and my mom was gone for 2 months because my sister was, the doctor said that she only had 2 months to live. So she went to Vancouver Children's Hospital, and in those days they had homes called Easter Seal homes. I believe they still have them, but I've seen an Easter Seal house, but I actually haven't seen like a place where people can go. And still, it wasn't like she was surrounded by other mothers who were also, watching their child go through cancer. Yes, on the ward for sure, but it wasn't like they would have support groups for the moms or the fathers or the families. It wasn't like that back then. And all the children were in one room, and I can remember it so vividly. I spent a lot of time in the hospital then because, of course, I was sick, so we had to go to the hospital together, and my sister would have to stay in the hospital. And my mom later would told me when I was older, mature, she said that many times she would go, to the hospital, or we would go to spend the day with my sister, and somebody would be missing, and several of those children and teens lost their battle. And my mom was watching that while her daughter had leukemia. So can you imagine how traumatizing that was? And then her other 3 children are back in BC, northern BC, so she doesn't have her children, and then her husband's working, so she's basically all alone going through this. Now that's a superhero, and she always had a smile on her face. She never ever complained. She was like the best mom. And my mom and sister and I were a team our whole life. We're a team up until the end. We did everything together. My sister was and is still my best friend, and so is my mom. And we are so blessed to have my mom, because my mom is a very positive person, very uplifting person. She would not show her pain. She may have been depressed. I'm sure there were times when she was, but she never showed us that. And I'm not saying that if you feel comfortable showing that with your children, showing how you're feeling, that's fine too. I mean, everybody handles it differently. But I think for my mom, she had to present herself as this pillar of strength, not only for us, but for herself. And I get that because I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I cry in private. I grieve in private. I mean, I will cry a little bit, but if I'm grieving, like when I was grieving my sister, I did that mostly in private. And that's just how I like how I need to process. And then I have like a couple people very close to me that I will talk to if I need a lift. And of course I have my faith, which is very, very helpful. So my mom had to deal with that, and that went on for a long time. It was many years, probably 4 years of on and off treatment. And then my sister struggled. She struggled through life, and it was hard on all of us. So I did things like that young teens would not do. Like I would go to see Tina Turner. I mentioned this before. I would go to concerts. I would probably go to movies that were probably like not appropriate, like What's New Pussycat. I don't know if you remember that, or Peter Sellers. Of course I wouldn't understand anything that was off, but we were doing things like together as one, even though I was 6 years younger, and I believe my mom had me at 32. So yeah, it was my upbringing was blessed because of my mother and her strength and her love and her compassion, and just this never give up attitude. And I've adopted all of those qualities, and they're because of my mother. And as a mother myself, I have often reflected on what she went through when she went to the doctor and they said, we think she has leukemia, you need to go to Vancouver Children's Hospital. And I can't imagine, I cannot imagine what that must have felt like. And I can remember my father the day that they left to Vancouver, because we had a house in Vancouver. My father built my mother a house for the family. She designed it, and my dad built it, and then he worked in the States for about 6 years. That's why I was born here in the States, but I'm Canadian, so I have dual citizenship because I'm raised in Canada. My family's Canadian. I consider myself Canadian. And so my dad, who he's in heaven too, an Irishman. Like I never saw my dad cry, and he leaned over to kiss me goodbye, and I was still in bed because they were leaving early in the morning and driving, and I could see that he was like welling up, and I was like, what's going on? Like I didn't know what was going on, and I didn't ask, and yeah, they left, and my aunt came and got me. Lived with my aunt, who was awesome. My aunt was awesome too. But still, that had an effect on me. Cancer is a family disease. That had an effect on my second brother. My first brother was in college. He was busy. He was distracted. So that was good. So basically, it was my mom, my sister, and I. And they called us the Three Musketeers. Or the Fabulous Phelan Ladies. And yeah, it was great, and in looking back, it was very difficult because my sister was super skinny. She looked anorexic and she wouldn't eat, and my dad would get mad because my dad did not, like, in those days they weren't, like, men were not getting in touch with their feelings and expressing themselves one way or another. He wanted my sister to eat so she would gain weight, and my sister could hardly eat. When you're going through cancer, you're not hungry. I didn't eat barely anything myself. And he'd be like, you have to eat your food. Then my sister would start crying, and then she'd run upstairs And then I would say, that's not nice, Dad. And then I would run upstairs after her. And then my mom would be like, John, really? So, I can remember that so clearly. And then my one brother just like sitting there and doing like not saying anything. And I know it came from love, but you know, my sister was just not hungry, and I understand that now, having gone through it. And it must have been horrible for my father too. I mean, they have no control. Like, think about it, we have no control, right, ourselves, but when your parents and your children are going through that and have no control like that, I mean, I feel like that must be worse. Whew. It's horrible, just horrible. So we had many good years with my sister Caroline. We had fun. We traveled to a lot of places, and I was blessed to have that time with her, but I do miss her dearly. And I'm sure my mother here on her 88th birthday is reflecting. And you know, I asked her how she's feeling, and she said great, but I just know that, I mean, how could you not, like, her daughter's not here. Her second daughter's not here. And when I was going through it, she could only communicate with me because at that point she was transferring into a nursing home, and so was my sister. And so she could not come here. She was not able to come here, and my sister was not able to come either. So the support came through the phone, which was perfect. But you know, my mother had already given me the tool set that I needed to push through, and just by watching her maneuver, float through life the way she did, with such grace and kindness and generosity and laughter. I mean, she's joy. My mom is pure joy, and I'm excited to celebrate her 90th in a couple years. So that's my first superhero for today. And my second superhero is, I'm back on the site, the CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention. And as I mentioned yesterday, I've never been on this site, right? But I've heard CDC over the past, year and a half, constantly. So when I did a Google search, I was like, interesting, because I've gone to other sites to hear about people's stories or read about their stories, and this one just popped up. And so they've got some incredible stories. So the topic is cancer. That's the title of the section. And I'm just gonna read this one to you. The Sun is My Vice by Robin Soler, Soler. Sun is my vice. It makes me feel good. It's the root of my family name, Soler. Suns hang on the wall in my home, reminding me and my children to shine. I love it. To be our best. We often speak of vices as something that's okay because we do so many other things right. My vice, damaged skin. In the 1970s, when I was hanging out on Tar Beach, the roof of a brownstone I lived in New York City, using SPF 4 tanning oil while my friends applied baby oil mixed with henna, I thought I was doing well. Okay, so I have to interject here because this reminds me of my mother and my mom, and she'd be in the back. We had a huge lot in North Vancouver, and my dad was one of the very first people to build up there. It's called Blue Ridge. The neighborhood's called Blue Ridge, and now it's developed and gorgeous homes, and they're super expensive now. But at that point, it was more like houses in a forest. And my mom would go in the backyard with like a chair, like a lawn chair, and she would lather herself with baby oil, and then she would have foil to like reflect the sun. And my mom is Italian, so her skin is olive, and my mom would end up being so dark, after just like a couple sessions in the sun, a couple times going in the sun and sun bathing. And she was like religious. When we go to Hawaii, the same thing. Wherever we were in the sun, my mom loved the sun and the sun loved her, but she would lather on that thick baby oil. We didn't know anything about skin cancer about that time. Around that time, like she wasn't aware. And when I think back, I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, like you're just like, I don't know. It's like the worst thing that you can do, baby oil and tinfoil. And we used to do that. So in high school, well, our schools are usually like kindergarten to 7th grade. Okay, that's elementary. And then we go 8th grade to the 12th grade, at least in Vancouver. And so there's no really middle school. You're the 8th graders are in with the 12th graders. And so when we would have a free day or whatever, we would go up to the mountain. So this would be Grouse Mountain. Oh no, this would be Mount Seymour Mountain. Yeah, actually, I believe it was Mount Seymour Mountain. Is that right? Anyways, it was one of those. And we would go up there and take our towels on the hood of the car, lay them out, and the same thing, we'd put on oil and we would have foil. And like where there was still snow on the ground, just because the sun came out, because it rains a lot in Vancouver. So when the sun comes out, it's woo-hoo, it's party time. We don't care if it's April or March. It doesn't have to be that warm. We just want the sun. And I can remember doing that. And I have vitiligo. My whole body is white. Like I have no more of my melanoma. I have no color in my skin, okay? Because I'm completely white because I had vitiligo, and vitiligo takes up the color from your skin. Melatonin. There we go. Melatonin. That's right there. What happened? That is chemo brain. And I'm certain I still have moments of chemo brain, and that was one of them. Sometimes I'll just be talking and I'll just like forget the word. Okay, I have to circle, and then it'll pop up like boom, like a cartoon. So melatonin. Okay. So moving forward, she says, I fell in love with the sun-assisted caramel color that my Afro Puerto Rican roots blessed me with every summer. As I got older, I took extra efforts to ensure I had sun exposure. I followed most of the skin protection guidelines as they advanced, going from SPF 4 to 8 to 15 and eventually 30. When I made it to SPF 30, I discovered I would get a rash when I was in the sun with sunscreen. I would use it, but I wouldn't reapply. So she's saying she would only put it on once, which is never enough. In 1998, I became a parent. I practiced good sun protective behaviors with my children and in turn myself, but I would often get distracted. I would see that, okay, so with my children and sunscreening, I was pretty strict about it, and I still am. They have sunscreens in their backpacks. They have the Neutrogena, which is the one for they like to use for the face, because they don't like the one for the lotion. And then they also have the lotion, and they have the spray. They have 3, and I put them in both their backpacks so that they have them at all times. I also have it in my car and in my handbag because I want to protect them from everything, anything that could cause cancer. That's me. I'm like, okay, you can't eat that. That's not good. I don't bring that up all the time, but I'll just say, oh, let's choose healthy. Let's, and I say, sun is your friend as long as you cover up, as long as you protect yourself, then the sun is your friend. I don't want them to become paranoid, but I want them to be aware. Okay, we must be aware, and as parents, we need to educate our children, because how would they even know? So, yeah, I was going to say, I would see these children at the public pool or at the beach, and some moms would put their their sunscreen on so thick, like they were all white, and then they would have the what's called, no, another word, the shirts that would keep the sun off, the screen shirts. Oh my goodness, protector skin, like bathing suit protector shirts. They were like made out of bathing suits, and so their faces were like super white, and then they would have their sleeves, and then they could also have like shorts that would go down to their knees. So that was always kind of like comical, but I totally get it. And rash guard, that's what they're called, rash guards, or sun guards. And so I would appreciate that mother was making sure that was on thick. And also zinc is another great thing to use under the eyes, especially because zinc is thick and it blocks the sun, and it comes in different colors. Great idea. Okay, moving on. But I would often get it. Okay, in 2010, my oldest daughter started running track. We were outside all the time from March through August. She had a huge umbrella, and I had an amazing tan. I would slather up before most track meets to watch her run, jump, and throw all day. If it was raining in the morning, I'd forget. If it rained during the day or I sweat things off, I usually wouldn't reapply. I love sun, and I love a great tan. So do I. And I can remember, like, when was this? I guess early 2000s, when spray tans were all the rage. And I look at those pictures now of when I would have a spray tan. Oh, it looks so horrible. Sometimes you look orange. Now I just rock my alabaster, I call it porcelain skin, and people will say to me, you need a tan. I'm like, no, I don't need a tan. I'm perfectly happy with my super white glowing skin. I don't need to have that look. I like this look, okay? I like the contrast of my dark hair and my very white skin, because I'm not interested in like spray tans, and I'm not interested in getting tan. I can't even tan. It's impossible. I cannot tan because I'm all white. Okay. In 2012, hey, that's when I was diagnosed, I noticed a misshapen mole on my right arm. So be aware of your moles. Be aware and check them, and have your doctor go to your dermatologist and make sure they check them if you have them, because they can change without you even noticing. But it's up to you to make sure you're on top of that and to get your moles checked out. I knew what it was almost immediately. I bought zinc and bandages and covered it up for 2 years. Yes, for 2 years, I put my health aside. In 2014, I finally decided to go to a dermatologist. This young lady, or this lady, and I have a lot in common, because I also waited 7 months before I had my colonoscopy. By that time, I had symptoms for, I don't know, probably 10 months. Because when I first had some symptoms, which was very, very light bleeding, because it was colon cancer, and I always had problems with digesting food. I just thought that I had IBS. And so by the time I actually got my colonoscopy, it was probably like 10 months. It's 7 months from when I saw the doctor. When she told me, not even my first doctor, the second doctor, which was my gastroenterologist, when she told me, okay, you need to get a colonoscopy, I canceled my appointment 3 times. Never in a million years did I think that I had cancer. Never. Because of course, if I did even contemplate or entertain that thought, I would have gone to have it done much earlier. So I'm completely aware now. I do not miss appointments. I make sure I do my checkups every year. I stay on top of it, because you just don't know. So it's better to get checked than be wrecked. And when you're going through chemo, you're kind of wrecked for a while. She says that's what she was diagnosed with: melanoma in situ. No surprise, but I was still shocked that my cells could multiply like they did. Cancer is not a thing that runs in my family, and I didn't have any of the risk factors for skin cancer. Fortunately, it could be cut out, but we weren't all that fortunate. Right after this simple procedure, which is funny because, doctors say it's a simple procedure. It may be simple, but that doesn't mean it's not painful. It may be simple to you, but it doesn't feel simple to us. So that's why it's in quotes. My heart started racing and I couldn't stop shaking. I was reacting to the epinephrine used to increase the effectiveness of the lidocaine. The lidocaine is there to numb out the pain. I also discovered that I was allergic to the stitches. She was allergic to stitches, and I was allergic to the tape. The tape that they would use in the hospital. There's 2 types of tape, and one of the tapes I couldn't. I would make me so nauseous. Even today, if I'm near that tape, I can smell it like 5 feet away. I'm like, oh, that smell. The other tape is like more like material, and the one that bothers me is like thinner. Anyways, I feel your pain. She's allergic to the stitches. Interesting. All right, so moving on. She says, today I have a 3-inch caterpillar scar across my right arm that reminds me of what I've been through. I still love the sun, but my skin protection behaviors are very different. I read sunscreen labels and pay for good product. Yes. I use SPF 15 or higher as recommended. And I have sunblock shirts, rash guards. That's what I was trying to say. I don't stay exposed for long periods of time. And I use my daughter's giant umbrella. Not perfect, but much better because cancer is real. Cancer is dangerous. And even the most basic surgeries can result in unexpected consequences. Okay, so that's her story. And at the bottom, let's see, Robin Soler is the mother of 2 daughters and is the director of the Office Applied Research and the Center for Preparedness and Response. She has been with the CDC for 15 years, primarily in the National Center for Chronic Disease Prevention, hilarious, ironic, and Health Promotion, love it, as an evaluation team lead. Well, congratulations on your win, Robin. I'm so happy that you are fine and that you are now protecting yourself. I encourage all of us to protect ourselves. And now that summer is over, we're going to Labor Day right now, doesn't mean that the sun does not shine as brightly during the fall, winter, and spring. You have to be aware, even if I live in California, it pretty much shines here every single day. If I'm going to go down to the beach, and it's a warm day in January, which happens, I'm still going to wear sunscreen. It doesn't mean because it's like December or January, whatever, that the sun is not going to burn you. And so whenever the sun is involved, you must sunscreen. I'm begging you, please, please, please sunscreen. Even if you have dark skin. I hear that all the time. Oh, well, I'm black, or oh, I'm that. I'm like, that doesn't mean you should not sunscreen. You should absolutely sunscreen. It doesn't matter if you're like super white like me, like a light bulb, or if you're dark, you still have to sunscreen. You don't want to go through skin cancer. It's no fun. I mean, every cancer is no fun, but this is preventable. So screen yourself, take care of yourself. What I do, as my doctor would say, I'm a cabana girl. So if I don't have a cabana, if that's not an option, which is usual, I'm not usually going to the beach and hanging out in the cabana. But if I'm at a pool and I'm with my friends, we'll get a cabana because none of us want to be really in the sun. But what I do for now is I wear big hats. You see, I wear big hats, right? I wear those hats because I like them. But the main reason why is because they're big and they cover me. They cover my face and they cover my shoulders. And then I put on the lotion. I put on the Neutrogena lotion, thick. I put it thick, and I put it on before I leave the house when I'm going to the beach, so it like absorbs. And I also spray. I do the lotion and I do the spray. I do both. And then I have a wrap around my bathing suit. And on the top, sometimes I will also wear like a shirt or like a wrap. So I'm pretty much covered, completely covered. Unless I'm in the cabana. I don't want to have any form of cancer ever again. And I mean, if I get burned, it really, really hurts. And it's so irresponsible to do that, especially if you're a parent. You have to take care of yourself. So yeah. When I'm at the beach, I'm definitely taking care of that. I mean, most women have on bikinis like this, and I have like a whole outfit, my hat, my glasses, and then I will bring an umbrella too, the kind, you put it in the sand. And I just like, even if I'm standing outside, I'll like find shade. I want to be in the shade. I want to be covered. So okay, my wraps are pretty. They look nice, and they protect me. So that's the most important thing. So they protect me from skin cancer, and you can do the same. This is something that you can prevent. So please sunscreen head to toe. You have to do your toes too. You don't want burnt toes. And if you do get a sunburn, get pure aloe. Okay, here comes the second puppy. Come on in, baby. Get aloe. Get the purest form of aloe that you can, and consistently apply it right away. Apply it immediately. Apply it before you go to bed, when you get up, to like help heal your skin. And really take care of your face, because your face, I can be in the sun, I'm not joking, for 5 to 10 minutes and I'll be burnt. My shoulders will be burnt. Like it's a fact. I look at the sun and I burn. That's okay. I love the sun. I'm not angry with the sun. I just need to respect and honor the sun, and I'm asking you to do the same. All right, so that's Superhero Saturday. Thanks so much, Robin, for sharing your story and your wisdom and your survivorship. I love it that you are thriving, and that you are leading the way. Health promotion, prevention, disease prevention and health promotion. That's perfect for you, because nobody knows about health prevention more than we do, right? At least I hope so. If not, then just join the show, join the page, and join the lives, because we talk about that a lot. It's so important. And I don't know anybody that's come out of a cancer journey and is not aware of what they're eating, what they're doing, what they're drinking, what kind of lotions, deodorants. All of these things are super, super important. I'm much more aware of definitely what I put in my mouth, for sure. And it's just these are simple things that you can do to protect you, and also give you peace of mind. If you have a mole and it's a different shape, get it checked every time you go to the dermatologist. Make sure you cover yourself up, grab yourself a hat, make sure you have sunscreen, use lotion, it's thick. Also use the spray, it's helpful. And get a rash guard. Rash guards can be cute too, and like, that's not the important thing. You're not going to feel cute or beautiful when you're going through treatment. You may be internally, but like, it's hard. I called myself the elephant woman because that's how I felt. Like, physically, I felt like the elephant woman. That's a reference to The Elephant Man, which was a movie back in 1980s. It's a true story about a man, and they called him the Elephant Man. the actor was phenomenal, and his head was so heavy he like couldn't lift it up. And he would say his one of the famous lines is, "I am not an animal, I'm a human being." But they were treating him like an animal. So a long time ago, like maybe in the 1800s, early 1900s. But it's a true story. So that's why I would probably be like, I'm not. I know I would say I am not an animal, I'm a human being, but I felt like that. So I like to look good, but protection and health comes first. And I just find a way to make it work. I love my hats. I love my wraps. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for all of those things to help, to allow me to still go out into the sun, near the water, and enjoy myself without worrying about getting cancer, skin cancer. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm grateful. I am thankful for your messages, for your support, and for watching, for joining me on the show. And tomorrow is I Am Inspired Inspiration Sunday. I love Inspiration Sunday. I hope that you either listen or go to a place where you can absorb some spirituality tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Maybe it's a religion. I'm Catholic, so I like to go to church on Sunday. It sets me up for the week. But there are all other kinds of church or non-denominational places where you can go and just get lifted up, and it's good for your soul, it's good for your mind, it's good for your mental health. So go get a dose of love and spirituality, and set yourself up for a beautiful, successful, pain-free week, right? Pain-free. Oh, can I get an amen? All right, and for you non-believers, invite the universe, light, energy, whatever it is. Invite something that's more powerful than you, a higher power that you can turn to, that you can connect with when nobody else is around. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Ask and you shall receive. All right. Daily mantra, please say it even if you don't mean it, and put a smile on your face. I am healthy. I am happy. I am whole. I am healthy. I am happy. I am whole. One more time. I am healthy. I am happy. I am whole. Send you so much love, light, and energy. Thanks for joining me.